so easy. And don't be scared, let yourself go. I'm not the judge, that's you alone. And don't be scared, you know. I'm not the one, it's you and score.
Don't you come in here with your hot, squeezy backs and tease me.
Oh, that stench. Oh, how it lingers. I never said that you were the best damn thing on your bed. Now what you paying for? And I never said that you were the best that I ever had. Now we're praying hard, and I won't let you in again. And I'm not the one who pushed away. It was you, it was you, it was so easy. You were never the one to believe in hostilities, but you still enforced the worst upon me, upon me. All you wanted was love, but that was never enough. No, never enough. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. Disregarding your name, your smell is all that remains. They say you're an SLUT, but that doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. I remembered what you'd say. We're all looking to be alone. And somehow, someday, we'll find what we're looking for. Till then, you'll still be a boy.
Good evening, race fans. Urban Pirate here with Black Flag Racing TV. And how are we on this fine fine Wednesday evening. You just saw a preview, if you were watching, for the new event coming up to Black Flag TV from tomorrow with the Smoking Pirelli's Racing Club. And we're joining them midway through their season, but it's already looking to be a fantastic F1 2022 series. But tonight, it's more important things on offer, and it is Black Flag Racing Team versus Virtual Racers Club. And this is round number 4. We've had 2 endurance races so far, one at Nürburgring, followed by one at the Red Bull Ring. We then went on to the sprint races. Last week we were at Lago Maggiore, and this week we are off to Laguna Seca. It's their settings this time round. It's going to be a little bit squeaky bum time on the tyres, especially if you run, well, only if you're running on the softs. You run on anything else, you might be all right. But on the softs, it's a bit squeaky bum time. There are no pit stops. It is 3 20-minute sprint races. One will be a reverse grid scenario. And you can catch alternative footage from my friend Thingamajig over in Studio 2. I'm here in Studio 1. Obviously I'm in Studio 1, I'm a pirate. I'm a pirate and I take what studio I want. But Thingamajig for VRC will be over on the other side, from the other perspective. So just waving at Thingamajig now. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're having fun over there in Studio 2. So, format this evening, it is 3 times 20-minute races at this track, Laguna Seca. Very iconic racetrack is Laguna Seca. It is an obviously an American circuit, and a lot of different racing goes on here. It is the WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. It used to be the Mazda Raceway. It's a paved circuit. It is in Central California, in between 2 towns. It's a purpose-built track. It's got 11 turns, and it's a couple of miles long. Originally built in 1957. It cost 1.5 million. We wouldn't even have to build a pit lane for that now. The first race was in November 1957. That was won by a guy called Pete Lovely. I'm sure it was a lovely race for the Ferrari. We're just coming up here to the corkscrew. It is a really, really complicated turn. You come up the hill, you've got to find your brake point. You can't see the turn. You've got to just hope your car slows down enough. I think it's a really big dip to go in. There's a big list of all the different races that's gone on here at Laguna Seca. Literally everything bar Formula 1, I think. If you can race it, you can put it on here. And it does have a sort of festival speed similar to Goodwood, that it's like a classic cars, historic cars, all that kind of thing, which definitely has a themed event each year, similar to the Goodwood Festival Speed, but obviously in much sunnier places in California. So we are going to start qualifying soon, but here is the full track, and this is an awful lap from me. I'm not going to claim that this is the sort of pace you should be doing. If you're doing this pace, you're damn slow, man. But here we go. This is turn. I count this as turn 2. But turn 1 is the little King Cook straight, start from the straight. You just lift through here. You don't have to brake. I don't know why I put the brakes out, and we should be in 4th gear. Probably. If you go fast enough, I was in 3rd. You do change down from 5th to 3rd here, get turn in again. I think I was going too slow for that corner. But to be fair, I didn't have a lot of time to put a lot of laps in, so I just stuck on the fastest one that I'd done. Then you head up the hill towards the dreaded corkscrew, and if you get this right, it can make your lap. If you get this wrong, it can go horribly wrong. You brake it as you reach the crest of the hill, and then you want to get down into 2nd gear. The first turn is a lot more important to give you a much better exit. You can lift through the turn here. You need to be much closer to the apex turn than I was. Change down to 3rd gear for this turn again. I don't know how this is my fastest lap. It's a terrible lap. And then of course you're in, and then missing it 1 mile, and then you head down towards the start for the straight. Do not use that as a guide to get around this track quickly, because it will be very, very wrong. So there you go. That's essentially what's occurring. So. Laguna Seca is. I don't know why that's right. go, Laguna Seca it is. We are starting qualifying in a couple of minutes. If I can find the right screen, we'll have a look to see what's occurring out on track. There we go. Sorted. So, we're in the Alfa 155. That's the car we picked for the GR4 portion of the series. They went for the Nissan Sylvia. I've driven the Sylvia, and it's a nice car to drive. Really nice car to drive. In terms of lap times, I think we're looking. It's going to be. I think qualifying is going to be somewhere around the 126s, there or thereabouts. I think 126, 127. Race pace will probably be more like 27, 28s. And you need to look after the tyres. It's going to be somewhere in the region of 16 laps, I think, 15 to 16 laps, depending on pace, of course. And towards the end of the stint, those racing soft tyres are going to be a little bit ropey. Now, can't pit. There's no need for pit for fuel. You've obviously got to watch it, but you should be absolutely fine on fuel all the way around. And you obviously can't pit for tyres either. So you've just got to manage it a little bit and make sure you've got enough to make it to the end of the race. There is no pitting, so you just drive, but there is obviously wear and tear on the fuel and the tyres. So a little bit of tyre management, a little bit of fuel management, just make sure you can make it to the end of this race. 7 drivers for each team. Let's have a look and see who those drivers are. So coming out today for Black Flag, we've got Yellow Sausages, we've got Wiggy, we have got GMAC, we've got PM10 Racing. We've just seen Kevin jump into the room, and Avalon will be joining us as well. So, and there is Stormfly coming in as well. So that is the 7 for Black Flag. For VRC, we've got Gesley. Haven't seen Gesley before. He's new to the series. So welcome to this series, Gesley. We've got Barry Twins. He's raced in all 4, I think. So good little races, Barry Twins. Big Dan, there he is. Jocas is. Oh no, he did race in one of them. He missed. I think he missed the two. I can't remember the name of it. Endurance races. Missed some endurance races. But it did appear in the last race. Koi Carp, of course, ever present, Mr. Koi Carp. And our glorious host, there he is, Matt Psycho. Very, very quick driver is Matt Psycho. So we will eventually have 14 in the room once everybody checks in. So there we go. And there's your last one. Little GPs will make up the 14th driver. The other two in the lobby are obviously myself and VRC Thingamajig, who are the broadcast team this evening, broadcasting on the Horizon stations. But so everyone needs to enter the room. That doesn't include me, of course, because I'm not racing. So the format will be 15 minutes qualifying from now, pretty much. Then after the qualifying is done, 15 minutes qualifying is done, we go straight into the first 20-minute race from a full start grid. Once that race is done, 10-minute break. Now you can choose that 10 minutes to spend qualifying, or you can go off and make yourself sound. You can do whatever you like in that 10 minutes. But after 10 minutes the race will start, whether you have qualified for race number 2 or not. So qualifying will start after 2 resets. So after that is done, you will race again. 20 minutes, again, full start grid. Then we will have one last qualifying session. There we go, so reset. And then I think there'll be another reset as well. Then after that qualifying session, it will be slowest first reverse grid. And, if someone is deliberately not qualifying through that one to gain an advantage, we'll know. We'll know by then who the quicker guys are. And there is plenty of honesty in this group, so I have no doubt that it will be absolutely fine. But they brought in Little GPs has come in for VRC today, and it looks like he might be a little bit of a racy one. certainly does look that way. So we've got little GPs, we've got Stormfly, we've got Wiggy, Avalon Shadow, PM10 Racing. And if you want to see a brilliant race, watch the last lap of the 2 weeks ago today, in fact, the last couple of laps at Red Bull Ring between PM10 Racing and Matt Psycho. PM10 Racing's tyres were shot, absolutely shot. Matt Psycho driving like a demon, hunting him down, and PM10 Racing was 1 corner away from losing that place to dodgy tyres. But very, very good to hold the car on the road for the amount of time that he did. So we have started qualifying. We've got 15 minutes of qualifying to do. What I'm going to do during this 15 minutes, I'm going to ask you to watch the Mind video again. We are raising money for the charity Mind to support the 1 in 15 people that will commit suicide throughout their lifetime. We're doing that by streaming a set of endurance races, 3-hour endurance races, which all emulate a full 24-hour race meeting at some of the most iconic 24-hour racetracks on the planet. We start this Saturday. Lobby opens from 7:15, race starting at 8 o'clock in the Group 1 cars at Le Mans. We've got a couple of places left if you're interested in getting involved, but those places are limited, obviously. If you want to get involved, give me a shout. I think there's a link down there to have a look. We will be live on YouTube. Please come along, and if you can't race, come and support us and watch us. And if you flush, bung us a few quid. So I'm going to put in the video I'll just buy this actually. There you go, that's what you need to know. 5 3-hour races, stream live to raise money for Mind. 19th of November, which is this Saturday, 24 hours at Le Mans. Then we've got 30, so we miss a week because we've got the World Championships the week after. We can't skip the World Championships, it is the last round. Then it's the 19th of November, the 3rd of December, 24 hours at Spa. 10th of December with 24 hours at Bathurst. 17th of December is 24 hours at Monza. And then the 7th of January, because obviously we can't race on Christmas, it's 24 hours at the Nürburgring. Lobby opens at 7:15 for every race. Tyres ×1, any 2 mandatory tyres, fuel ×1. Lada, and all the money goes directly to Mind. We don't see a penny of it. Every single penny you donate goes to Mind. So there we go. That's all you need to know. So qualifying we are doing. Let's have a little on-board lap with someone who's pretty quick. Let's go on board with Stormfly. So here we go. This is the way the lap should be done, not the way I demonstrate in my video. So he did a 26.5, 126.5, very, very solid time in that Alfa 155. And you get turned in. This is turns 2 and 3 here, really. Technically it's turn 1. You don't brake for turn number 1. Again, on the power early, and you can let it drift out quite wide there if you're brave. You've just got to be careful you don't go too far over. Again, you can use all of the racetrack. Just you've got to be careful of the gravel because the gravel can be very unforgiving here. Down into 3rd gear, again on the power, and you're heading up the hill under the VP, whatever it is, sign. Little dab of brake to get turned in here. You can do this in 4th gear. Use all of the AstroTurf to get you up the hill, and you head towards the dreaded corkscrew. Over to that left-hand side, pointing the car right, under braking and brake straight, or you will spin through the corkscrew, back on that power again, and then it's literally a little lift through here. He dabbed the brakes, didn't really need to, but a little lift through there, up in the gears, and then through here in 3rd gear, past the pit lane entrance, which is on your left-hand side. Then this is the final turn 11, and you're back round for another lap, and it's a very, very short lap here at Laguna Seca, but quite technical, quite unforgiving if you get it wrong. That's a 1:26.539, so that puts him in pole position, but only briefly, because almost immediately Kevin rocks up with a 1:26.1. He's got no intention of losing out pole position today. Yellow Sausages with a 1:26.7. PM10 Racing with a 1:27.2. Then we've got Wiggy also with a 1:27.2. There's 0.8 of a second difference between those 2 cars. Then we've got Guesty with a 1:27.5. Little's GP a 1:28.0 for his first, but I'm expecting a better lap from him this this time out. Matt Psycho 128.0 in the Sylvia. G-Mac just coming out for his outlap. But he's done 128.0 and a 128.0 also for Avalon Shadow. So actually that was an inlet, that 128.0 from G-Mac. But he's letting everyone through because they're on hot laps, of course. Big Dan with a 128.5. Barry Twins with a 129.1. Koi Carp with a 29.6. And Jokas with a 29.7. That's your current representative times. I think we've got a sub 26 in this lap, you know. Don't know where it's coming from just yet, but I think we've certainly got it in this particular format of cars and racetrack. And I think with a little bit of seriousness, that we haven't got super long straights, and neither car is going to get to full pelt. Good evening, Jason. He says good evening all, and good luck all. Yes, thank you very much. It's going to be another interesting race. The Sylvia is not a bad little car, to be fair. I did do a few laps in it earlier. I quite like it, but you know, I'm a big fan of the Alfa anyway, so it will always be the Alfa for me. I love that little Alfa. It's pretty much any car I can drive. Well, you know, I can't drive it quickly, but I can drive it, which is a good start. So, predictions, Jason, and Stormfly's not going to get better or faster by doing that to his car, and there is some damage on the car now. Let's have a quick look at the settings. So we'll jump out of here very quickly. We'll bring the settings up so we can see just what it's all about. Race for real at Laguna Seca, 20-minute time limit. Weather is preset to dry, cloudless and pleasant. That's what we like to see. Late morning, and it's variable time speed rated times 3. Grid start, full start check is what you need to know. BOP on, tuning prohibited, mechanical damage light. So that means you'll take a bit of damage. You won't need to repair it. It will repair itself after a little while, but you will have a little restriction in your performance, depending on the damage, of course. 3 times tyre wear, 4 times fuel consumption. So it's going to be touch and go on the fuel for the 20 minutes and for the tyres. That's pretty much what you need. Shortcut penalty is strong, as it should be. All the other penalties are off other than the flag rules, and no limit on driving option limitations. So that's everything you need to know. So there we are with Kevin. Is currently on pole. His fastest lap is a 1:26.124. He's joined on the front row by Stormfly, who has done a 1:26.3. Yellow Sausages heads up row 2 with a 26.7, and he's joined by Wiggy with a 26.8. PM10 Racing has just pushed Avalon down, or actually pushed he's pushed Avalon down a little bit because he's moved up into, what's going on? Oh, Yellow Sausages went into the pits and started again, so we'll have to wait and see what time he's got. So actually PM10 Racing hasn't gone anywhere. He's done a 1:26.9, so all sub 127, top 5, all sub 127, and all Black Flag E-Racing. How about that? Locking out the top 6 spots, the entire front 3 rows. But I'm expecting things to change. There's some really good drivers in VRC, and I know these boys have got some pace. So they might be sandbagging and just lulling us into a full sense of security, and then they're all going to chuck in sub 126 laps, and we're going to have egg on our face. Let's see. PM10 Racing is 127.3. Sorry, Avalon Shadow 127.3. The top 5 all sub 127 laps so far. Guesty is the quickest for VRC at the minute with 27.4. Then we've got Little's GP. Or is it Little S? Little's GP. Let's call him Little's GP. And that's a 1:27.7 from him. Matt Psycho carrying that penalty. He's not going to get faster with that, but he's done a 1:27.3. Seems to be his fastest lap there. Don't know why it says 1:27.8 is, because he went for the pit. That one. GMAC with a 28.0. We know GMAC's definitely quicker than that. Big Dan with a 28.4. Barry with a 28.9. Koi Carp 29.6. Then he had a 3:48 lap, so I'm assuming he pulled over for some Crazy, strange reason. Don't know what that was. Just checking the message me or something, but no, he hasn't. Then we have got, what have we got? Then we've got Joker with a 1:29.7. We've got a couple of minutes left of quali, about 5 minutes left of quali. Just about 4.5 minutes left. So that's good for 2 laps. Yeah, I think if you can put 2 laps in here, you've done all right, and you've had a very, very good shot at your qualifying with 2 laps. As I said, if you wanted to watch an alternative to this particular stream, you can go and jump over onto the VRC YouTube, and there's a very, very good commentator over there in the shape of Thingamajig, and he will entertain you with his dulcet tones from their perspective. Fastest lap still with Kevin, 1:26.1. Stormfly with a 26.3, no change there to the top 2. Top 3 also remain unchanged. Yellow Sausages is vying for the front row. His fastest lap is just 4.444 behind Stormfly. He's on a 26.7 there. Wiggy with a 26.8. Very, very close behind Yellow Sausages. They are together on row number 2. PM7 Racing, and it's good to have him racing back with us. He's had to take a little bit of time off, not a huge amount of time, but it's good to have him back. And if he's only racing 1 night a week, we're glad it's with us. Welcome back to race night, Paul. And that's a 1:26.9 from him. He's 2/10 quicker than Avalon Shadow, who's just done a 1:27.1. There's got to be a sub 27 in there for Avalon, absolutely got to be. Then it's Little GP with a 27.3, followed by Gessley, who has done a 27.4. Not a lot to separate those two. Then it's GMAC with a 27.5. So all very, very close in that midfield. Matt Psycho 27.8. Dan with a 28.4. Barry 28.9. Koi Carp 29.6. And Jolkas just coming through, just coming out of the corkscrew, followed by PM7 Racing with a 29.7. Kevin has finally gone sub 1:26 with a 1:25.8. The driving alien, the Greek god of driving. There he is, 1:25.8. And I tell you what, whenever you see Kevin in the lobby, you've got to be glad he's on your team, because it's no fun racing against him. No, it's always fun racing against Kevin, of course it is. But you can pretty much guarantee that you are not taking first place with Kevin in the room. Certainly not while I'm racing against him, but he makes everybody around him faster, because you have to be, or he's going to say bye-bye. Stormfly coming in, he's on a 20, he's 25.9, so he's gone sub 26 as well. So I think there's going to be a good battle between those two this evening. Just 0.06 of a second between them in terms of time. Wiggy, not quite got a sub 26 yet, 26.8. We know that Yellow Sausage was a little bit faster than 26.7. He's just done a 27.1, so he hasn't been able to emulate that 26.8. Dives into zip hits, because qualifying will be over in a jiffy, and a jiffy is officially 45 seconds. Kevin, I've just seen that 1:25. It's redonkulous, isn't it? Absolutely redonkulous. Crazy, crazy times. Let's drink some Pepsi and wet the throat. Absolutely not drinking coffee at this time of night. 1, I'll be up all night peeing because I'm an old man. And 2, I won't. I'll be able to get up and pee because I won't be asleep. So, switch to cold drinks at this time of night. Everyone's going back on track again, although we are at the 15-minute mark. So the race will start forthwith. Just waiting for that to happen as Kevin decides to take the scenic route, having put in a very, very quick lap with a 1:25.8. So at the moment, the front 2 rows are locked out by Black Flag, Kevin from Stormfly, Yellow Sausages from PM10. Although I think Wiggy should be. I think Wiggy's in there as well, isn't he? So here we go. Race is about to begin. It is indeed the top 6 locking out with black flags. And G-Mac letting the side down and being all slow and rubbish. I'm only joking, Gary. Of course you're not. But here we go. This is the second of the sprint race series. And we will be away very shortly. Just quickly jump out here and go back in here. And everyone's away. There we go. Jumped in a little bit late. Kevin gets away well. Stormfly away also very well. Let's get some details up and see what's occurring. So Kevin from Stormfly, Yellow Sausages, PM10, Wiggy, Avalon, and G-Mac up into 7th, fighting with Little's GP. That battle already raging on. Little's GP and Matt Psycho getting through. G-Mac back ahead of Matt Psycho. So at the moment, it's one place separating G-Mac from Little's GP. If you can get around Little's GP, it is a front 7 whitewash for Black Flag. But do not count these VRC guys out. They have got some very, very quick drivers. And I think as it comes towards the end of the race, I think this Sylvia is going to be better on tyres than the Alfa. And this is where I think their car choice is going to come into the forefront. So we've got Avalon dropped down behind Little's GP. Little's GP showing some very, very solid race pace and already up into 6th place here on Laguna Seca. So Kevin out in the lead. He is 6/10 clear of Stormfly. Stormfly 6/10 clear of Yellow Sausages. Shows some very good paces, Yellow Sausages. It's good to have him back racing after his accident much earlier in the year. But saw him out for a number of months. But great to have him back racing with us on a regular basis. PM10 Racing 6/10 behind him, and then Wiggy 6/10 behind him. So nice, solid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from Black Flag. Then there comes the interloper from VRC. He's ahead of Avalon. He's ahead of Matt Psycho. He is Little's GP racing for the Virtual Races Club. 8/10 back, or 6/10 back, in fact, is Avalon Shadow. He just losing out a place there in the first lap to Little's GP. And Matt Psycho getting ahead of G-Mac, but G-Mac not letting him out of his sight and tucked right in behind there, looking for a way through. Couple of overtaking spots on this track. Certainly turn 1 is a very good place to overtake. The corkscrew, if the person in front of you balls up his lap, is also a very good place. And the final corner, if a gap is left open. Other than that, you know, you have to kind of squeeze your way through. And G-Mac looking for a way through and looking so close to the back of Matt Psycho. We know how quick Matt Psycho is. We saw him battling for a top 3 with PM10 in the last endurance race at the Red Bull Ring. So very, very quick driver is Matt Psycho, and I fully expect to see him putting a challenge further up the field as the race goes on and those tyres hang out a bit for that Sylvia. So coming into towards the end of lap 2, it is Kevin from Stormfly from Yellow Sausages. PM10 Racing, Yellow Sausages with a penalty. Stormfly with a penalty. Both getting those served. We'll see PM10 Racing go through. Yellow Sausages picked up his penalty a little bit too late in the lap to serve it this time. So he's going to have to carry that for the rest of this lap and serve it at the end of lap 3. So PM10 Racing up into the top 3. Stormfly in 4th place. Wiggy in 5th. Little's GP hanging on to that front 6. And just breaking a little gap back to Avalon Shadow. 1.6 seconds is that gap. There is Avalon Shadow, and the colour coordination on those Alphas is really cool. And thank you very much to Kevin the Greek God. Not only can he drive cars good, he'll drive cars fast, he can also do very, very cool car liveries. So thank you very much for those, Kevin. Then we've got Matt Psycho. He has started to pull away from G-Mac now, started to tuck up behind Avalon Shadow. This is fully what I expected from him. We know he's a good, solid, quick driver. G-Mac running 1.5 behind Matt Psycho. Is he going to start dropping into the clutches of Guesty? Is Guesty going to not only close it down, but then make the overtake? So that's the hard bit, is making the overtake. Because if you keep your car on the apexes and cover off your inside lines, it can be difficult to overtake. There's a lot of overtaking spots here, but it depends on where you plant your car. Then we've got 2.5 back to Barry, 7/10 back to Big Dan. Joe Cass has got ahead of Koi Carp, 13.5 seconds ahead of him now. So it looks to me like Koi Carp has had a little bit of an off issue. So he's clearly put his car somewhere on the gravel, unwittingly, of course. So some work to do for him in this race number 1. So there is your leader. He's 3.7 seconds clear now. Fastest lap of the race at 1:26.5. That's a qualifying time. That boy's just done a qualifying time under race conditions. Fuel looking okay. So bear in mind they've got to get to the 20-minute mark on this full tank of fuel. If you make it to 5 minutes, you've got 3/4 left. You're doing okay. And certainly the tyres are looking okay at this stage. But you mark my words, when it gets to the end of the 20 minutes, the tyre wear on this Alfa is not the best, put it that way. You would like to have it looking after tyres a little bit better. It's very difficult to get good performance and save your tyres on this brilliant. It's a brilliant race car, but tyre wear is not its forte. But in off the line and through the lower range, mid-range gearing, it's one of the best cars in this class. Stormfly back up into second, so showing his pace. He did drop down a couple of places, but already worked his way back up into second place. PM10 Racing, though, does stay in third. Wiggy drops to fourth. Where's Yellow Sausages? Yellow Sausages so obviously served his penalty, and that's why he's dropped down now behind Little's GP. So Little's GP picking Black Flag off one by one. So he got GMAC. Well, he was already ahead of GMAC. GMAC did get ahead of him very briefly, took that place back, then pounced on Avalon. Now pounced on Yellow Sausages. His next target is Wiggy, who is 9/10 up the road. What has Little's GP got in terms of closing that? Still the fastest man on track is Kevin with a 26.5. Little's GP with a 27.4. Good solid lap that. But 26.8 is the quickest lap from Yellow Sausages. So will he be coming back at Little's GP very shortly? There is Avalon, 1.4 seconds back. Looking after his fuel very, very well. We know how good he is at looking after his tyres. He's 2.5 clear at the moment of Matt Psycho, who's not only not been able to catch Avalon, but has actually found GMAC starting to close him down. He did a 28.2, 28.6, 28.1, and then here comes GMAC with just starting to drop into the 27s now. So he's starting to ramp it up, but I think GMAC is going to struggle with his tyres a little bit later. We compare GMAC's tyres there to all the tyres around, and I think GMAC is going to be a squeaky bum time. He is very heavy, and he won't want me saying this. Matt Psycho making that move on Avalon Shadow is the move on. He did have a little look. He stuck his nose out to see if there was a gap or if Avalon was going to give it up. He's going to chuck one down the inside, but Avalon very, very cleverly cuts off the apex. Nowhere for Matt Psycho to go. So Matt Psycho actually being pushed back now by Avalon Shadow, by Yellow Sausages, No, it is by Avalon Shadow, into the clutches of GMAC, who's so basically now you've got GMAC trying to get around Matt Psycho, and you've got Matt Psycho trying to find a way around Avalon Shadow. So Avalon Shadow helping to keep Matt Psycho away from a big charge forward, and that's brilliant teamwork there if that's his intention. Matt Psycho again having a little looky up the inside, nothing doing that time. He's going to have another look when he gets to the top here, when he gets to the corkscrew. Although this time he knows if you want to make a move up to the corkscrew, you've got to rely on the car in front of you making a mistake and be very, very precise up the inside, or it is crash time. Through this last sector here at Laguna Seca, everyone through very clean. It's been very, absolute commendable to VRC the whole way through this. They've been very, very clean. There's been no issues at all, no issues with aggressiveness or anything. I mean, look, it's been aggressive, but it's been fair aggressive. There's been no silly moves, no ridiculous attempts to jump forward. It's been very, very honest, fair racing, and they've kept us on this. GMAC having a look up the inside of Matt Psycho there. He's going to have the outside line going into turn 3 though, so Matt Psycho will hold it, but GMAC trying to hang it around the outside. He's not going to be able to make it around the outside there. Matt Psycho does stay ahead, but GMAC starting to look a bit racy. Then we've got go 3 seconds back to Guesty. He's pulled out a massive gap over his teammates. Big Dan 4 seconds back. Barry 2.2 seconds back. Then it's 8.9 to Jokas, and Koikap has cut that gap down to 4.1 seconds. He did have a very bad lap on lap 4, 1:35, so clearly off the track on lap 3 for Jokas, and Koikap also had a very bad lap 3 with a 1:45, but seems to have upped the pace now. He's got some work to do though. We're halfway through already. He's got his teammates to close on. There's your leader, 4.6 seconds clear of Stormfly VRC 46. He's just done the fastest lap of the race now with a 1:26.1. He's starting to ramp up that pace, and I'll tell you what, there could be a 1:25 under race conditions here from Kevin. It's been brilliant, hasn't it, Jason? He said, yes, I agree, very clean races in all the races. He's absolutely right. It's been absolutely bang on fair, and it's nice when you get that, when you get people that can come in, especially people you don't know, because there's always that little thing of jeopardy. You know, in your room with your race team, and you're racing with them all the time, and you've got your own little league going on, you know what's happening. You kind of know where everyone's at, and you know the expectations are there, and you can talk to each other. But when you're racing against people you don't really know, there's always that sort of air of jeopardy. So it's really good to see that everything has been absolutely fair and down the line and completely honest. There is a possibility we'll be racing these guys again next Wednesday. We had the first race we had in the series was an endurance race at the Nürburgring. There was some talk that they might replay it next week. I'll have a little chat with their powers that be and find out if that's still happening. It's because the settings were slightly off from what they expected to what we started on. The settings were slightly off, so they feel that they were, and rightly so. You know, if you plan a race with certain tactics and the race turns out to be different, then it is going to hamper you, and we will have another crack at that particular whip. But we'll have some negotiations and see what happens. So there's your lead. He is 4.4 seconds clear of Stormfly. He's now 2.4 clear of PM10 Racing. Up in the top 3, and not only is it good to have him back racing, it's good to have him back up in amongst the business end of the racetrack. There's Wiggy running in 4th place. Little's GP has made his way up through the order. He got past GMAC after GMAC made a little foray ahead. Then he got past Avalon. Then he got past Yellow Sausages, and he's now starting to close up on the back of Wiggy, showing some really, really good pace. 26.9, his fastest lap in that Sylvia. And I do like the livery on that, the VRC Motorsport livery. It's a very, yeah, no, they are two completely different settings. Here, I mean, we went for balls out, don't worry about fuel, don't worry about tyres, just flat out racing. They've opted for a little bit of jeopardy on tyres and fuel. I think fuel is less of a problem than tyres are, but I think if you look at the state of the tyres now, we're over halfway through, and it's just starting to get to the stage where you're thinking, are these tyres going to make it to the end? Unless, of course, you're Kevin, who just takes nothing out of his tyres ever, or Avalon Shadow, who are really good at looking after tyres. But if I were GMAC, I'd be a little bit squeaky bum, because we know how GMAC likes to scrub that rubber. He's a rubber scrubber, is GMAC. And at the moment, he's under some significant pressure from Guesty. Guesty looking up the inside, trying to make the move. Doesn't make it happen there. The exit speed of the Alfa, just a little bit too much for the Sylvia there. But is there going to be another go up into turn 1? Because he's got that slipstream. He is closing up on the back of him again. And into turn 1 is he looking for the old switcheroony. Again, up the inside, but he's not close enough to make the move. And a little bit wide on the exit there. So GMAC just lives to fight another day. Dun, da, da, da. So it is Kevin in the lead from Stormfly, 5 seconds clear of Stormfly, with PM10 Racing 2 seconds further back, 2.7 back to Wiggy, who is under a little bit of pressure from Little's GP, but nothing that's going to worry him at this stage. 1.5 back to Yellow Sausages. Avalon Shadow 4.5 seconds back from him. Then we've got Matt Psycho 3 seconds back, and GMAC no longer putting that charge on Matt Psycho. He at the moment is concerned with some pressure from behind from Guesty. Will Guesty bestie GMAC? That's the question. And will Guesty bestie GMAC and send old G-Mac to the back. I'm like John Cooper Clark, the John Cooper Clark of South London. That's me. There is Guesty. Trying to close down on G-Mac still. 8.7 seconds back with a half-second penalty. You won't want to see that flashing above his car. Here's Big Dan. Oh, excuse me. Big yawn from nowhere. 2.4 seconds back to Barry Twins. And he is running 15 seconds clear of Jokers, who's had a bad lap on lap. What was it? Lap 4. 1:35. Now Coy Carp had a terrible lap on lap 3 and is absolutely now closing right down on Jokas to improve his lot. And his pace actually is more akin to sort of Barry and Big Dan. In fact, quicker than Big Dan. Slightly quicker than Barry. So he is more here. And Guesty makes that move on G-Mac up into 9th place. What a time to flick forward. He makes the move. G-Mac going for the switcheroo though. And that switcheroo works. He's back in front. So frustrating for Guesty. Making the move and he just couldn't make it stick. But where's G-Mac? G-Mac looked like he went very, very wide. Incredibly wide. So Guesty does go through. And the pressure finally telling. And G-Mac just dropping off the pace. Now, if I were G-Mac, I would be seriously worried about those front tyres. And I think he's going to need to just back off the pace a little bit just to look after them, because there is no pitting today. It is, you start on those tyres, you finish on those tyres. So we've still got all 14 runners, and it's good that VRC have got full complement of 7 again this week. They only had 6 last week, and I wish they'd let us know. We could have found someone to race in their colours for them. I'm sure we could have found somebody to race on their behalf, or dropped our own team down to 6 to make it a 6v6. But, you know, it is what it is. And what it is an illusion. I can only apologise for that. 7.2 seconds is Kevin now leads. His fastest lap on lap 7 was a 1:26.1. I'm looking for a 25.8 at race pace, and he needs to give it to me and give it to me now. Stormfly is comfortably in second, 1.4 seconds clear of PM10 Racing. But at the moment, the top 4 positions are locked out by Black Flag E-Racing. And that's a great sight to see. The boys all working together. They've been working, to be fair, I've asked quite a lot of them in the last few weeks in terms of races and stuff. We've got this team versus team. We've got another one starting on Sunday. We've got the GT Fusion World Champions coming up next week. A lot of stuff to be practicing for, and of course the mine endurance events. But they take every single thing at them, and they get the practice put in, and they're ready for every race chucked their way. I might let them have some time off over Christmas. I'm only joking. They're free to come and go as they please. They are free to come and go as they please. PM10 1.5 back in 3rd place. Wiggy 2.5 back in 4th place. Little's GP has made it past Avalon, has made it past Yellow Sausages. Can't seem to close the gap on Wiggy, and now finds himself under some pressure from Yellow Sausages. So Chris looking to regain that position and make it top 5 for Black Flag. Remember, we've got one more race which is just like this coming up 10 minutes after this race finishes, and then we go slowest first. So slowest first always chucks up some really interesting races. We've seen how difficult they're finding it here to overtake because of the similarity in pace. That's mostly why. I mean, there are some good overtaking spots, and we said now this is when the tyres start to go off for the Alfa. So the Sylvia in a slightly better state of repair. So this is where the Sylvia is going to start to be a little bit stronger. But it's going to be on the slowest first. We're really going to see things mixed up. Because we know the Alfa needs to look after its tyres towards the end, they're going to need to push harder early on to get any moves done. And the reason that's a problem is because the more you push early, the less you've got later on. And a good exit from Chris puts him right up behind Little's GP. Trying to make a move around the outside here. They are side by side. Little's GP defending their inside line very, very well. Have no intentions of letting him through. And at the moment, Yellow Sausage is kind of stuck behind Little's GP in 6th place. But And it's actually costing him time because he can't get on the power as early as he'd like to, or on the brakes as late as he'd like to, because there's always that danger of catching the car in front, and you don't want to be doing that and then giving back, have to slow down and give back that place and all the palaver that comes with it. You want to just get on with the racing. So at the moment, lap 14 here, and I said we make 16 laps. I don't think we're going to make that many. I think it's going to be 15 laps for, well, not even, so 14 laps it is. So we managed to do 8 in 10 minutes, but only 14 in 20. But that could be because the pace is slightly down. So here is your race winner for the first of these 3 sprint races. Kevin77 will cross the line, and as leader 7.7 seconds clear of Stormfly, who's got PM10 right up behind him. There's Stormfly, there's PM10. Yes, we had a little chat about that earlier, Jason, and that's going to be pretty cool. There's Wiggy in 4th. Niels GP brings it home for VRC in 5th. Yellow Sausages brings it home for Black Flag in 6th. Here comes Gessley, very wide there, but he's far enough ahead of GMAC, whose tyres are gone. Matt Psycho did drop back behind GMAC, so I don't know if he had a problem. So there is GMAC. Matt Psycho, it looks to me like he must have had a problem because he dropped right back there in 9th. Barry, he comes home in 10th place. Big Dan 3 seconds back in 11th. There he goes across the line. Avalon Shadows had a massive problem. He clearly had enough somewhere because 33.9 drops all the way down the order to 12th. That's where he comes home. Jokers will come home in 13th, and Koi Carp didn't quite make lap 14 and finished a lap behind. Well, he didn't finish a lap behind, but he was only just ahead of everybody else when the time went out. So there we go. That is your top 3 from that particular race. Not a bad start for Black Flag then. Good racing from everybody, but Black Flag just edging that one. So we're going to have 10 minutes. 10 minutes is for a smoke, it is for a drink, it is also for qualifying. So you can spend all 10 minutes qualifying if you so wish. You can also go and spend 10 minutes standing in your kitchen, staring out a window, wondering what happened to your life, and then come back and not do anything. And then start at the back of the grid if you so wish. So we're going to disappear for a couple of minutes while everybody goes and does their business, and then we'll come back for qualifying very soon. Watch the promo video again. Why not?
You were never the one to believe in hostilities, but you still forced the worst upon me. All you wanted was love, but that was never enough. No, never enough. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. You were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. They say you're an SLUT, but that doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. What you say, we're all looking to be alone. And somehow, someday, we'll find what we're looking for. Till then, you'll still be a boy.
And I'm back in the room. Oh my God. I don't know what the weather's like where you are, but it is absolutely chucking it down. And the thunder outside is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I've not seen anything like it in a very, very long time. I was just standing there having a little smoke. All of a sudden, flash, bang, and the dog loses it. Quite funny watching the dog lose it, to be fair. But yeah, I don't know what the weather's like where you are, but here it is biblical. If there is a God, which I very much doubt, he's not very happy today. But there we go. As you see from the promo, we've got some really exciting stuff coming up on Black Flag TV. Between now and Christmas, really, it's quite a full roster. I mean, as you've seen, it's been busy anyway. But tomorrow we are with a whole new Formula One racing series. We join the Smoking Pirellis Racing Club for their F1 2022 Thursday night season. They are racing at Mexico City tomorrow. The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, I'd say as they say in Spain, but they don't say it like that in Spain or Mexico because they have much better Spanish accents than I do, mainly because they speak Spanish. But there we go. that was my poor attempt at breaking the language barrier with our South American friends. And I won't be doing that too often because I will have lots of angry foreigners banging on my door for misappropriating their language. So qualifying has begun again. It was a 10-minute qualifying session, essentially 3 minutes into it. What else is coming up on Black Flag TV while these guys are chucking cars around the track? Friday evening we are back. More F1 on Friday evening actually with Euro trips. We missed last round of Euro trips due to an internet issue. And to be fair, the line hits my bloody internet. It's going to be out again, isn't it? So hopefully that doesn't happen, touch wood. So we'll be there for Euro trips on Friday. They are where this week? I can't remember. I could look it up, but that would involve moving my hands. So I'm not going to. That's on Friday. Then Saturday we have our brilliant endurance event to raise money for Mind. It's a very, very worthy cause. If you can get involved, please do. If you can't, then watch the stream. If you can't do that, then please send us some money. More than in the garden, it's just over there. It's because Harley freaked out, that's all. It was just over there somewhere.
I have my head under the bed. Right?
Why is that going to help?
No, because I was trying to sleep and I was cold.
Oh.
And then it held it up. I was like, what the fuck is that? And then it bang, I thought the bedroom was exploding. Right, it wasn't in that dark. It went everybody into your heart.
Don't tell her that, 'cause it's next door. It was over in the park, Hannah. No, it was over in the park, nowhere near us. Right, can I get back to this now? Apologies for me disappearing like that. My daughter was freaking out. She thought that me and the dog had been hit by lightning, which was upstairs crying. I've just had to reassure her. I wasn't hit by lightning. I am really this brain damaged naturally. So, where are we qualifying wise? Who's got what? Kevin's done a 1:25.7. He's on pole. As expected, Stormfly just behind him. He's done a 26.3. Not got a sub 26 yet, but we know he can. He is 1:26.3. Yellow Sausage is 1:26.6 in third place. Little's GP, good solid lap from him actually, 1:26.9. Certainly showed his intentions in race number one. Made his way through a number of cars to move up into the top echelons of the field. Holding the flag at the moment for VRC, really putting the hammer down. GMAC with a 27.4. PM10, 27.4 from him also. Not a lot between them. Then back to Wee with a 27.6, fastest lap for him. Does he improve this time out? We'll certainly find out soon. Matt Psycho, he's done a 27.6. Very good race pace from him. Expected, considering how fast I know he can be, I thought he might give us a little bit more, but I'm sure this will come very, very soon. And we saw towards the end of the race how the tyres do go off much quicker on the Alfas. So I really genuinely think when we come to the third race here, which is slowest first, that it's really going to play into the hands of VRC, because looking at the pace of everybody, they're going to be packing out the front of the field. It's quite difficult to overtake here with the pace similarities. You're going to have some of the quicker guys trying to find a way through, but being held up by some slower cars. And actually that can play into the VRC hands because the tyres are so much better on this Sylvia than they are in the Alfa. The cars behind in the Alphas are all going to be pushing. If they push too hard, it's going to be a good night Vienna when it comes to the last few laps of the race. So 14 laps is what we got last time out. Do we make 15? Well, possibly if the pace is quick enough. But I think 14 is probably about right, to be fair. There's Guesty, currently running 9th, 28.4 for him. Barry with a 28.5. Close run thing between those two. Good run from Guesty last time out. Actually got ahead of Matt Psycho. And yeah, good performance from him. Then we've got Joe Cass has done a 36.4, only on his second hot lap now, so still some time for him. Avalon Shadow just started his hot lap. He's been out for a city, of course. He has. He's done a 28.4. He's got a bit more pace in that, certainly. And Barry, 28.5. He won't improve on that this time. Not going on the gravel like that anyway. Big Dan with a 29.5. Joe Cass with a 36.4, and Koi Carp 51.9, and did have a good race last time, Koi Carp, but he is quicker than these times suggest. Just about keeping the car on the racetrack. So Kevin jumps into pits, puts on some fresh boots, and he's going to go for another quick lap. He did a 25.768 and a 25.735, and he is being cool, he is being fast, and at the moment he is being first, as the motto says on the back and the front of our Alfa Romeos. So at the moment we lock out the front two rows. Little is holding the torch there. Who's that? Is that Wiggy going slow? He's in the pits now, actually. Yeah, so Little's GP holding that flag out in 5th place for VRC, showing them how the car should be driven. 26.9 is his fastest time so far. We've got a couple of minutes left to qualify. Enough time for one more lap, essentially. If you're out there and you're on a lap, this is the time to put in that blister. The blistering time. Avalon Shadow does improve. He's up to 6th with 27.3. GMAC hasn't improved on his 27.4 so far, and drops down a place behind Avalon Shadow. So we've got Kevin, Stormfly, PM10 and Yellow Sausages. Then where's Wiggy? He's there, he's in the pits. He is 1.5 behind Kevin, which would slot him in between Littles and Avalon, around that spot. So top 4 is Black Flag. Then we've got VRC 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, should I say, is Black Flag. And then Matt Psycho, Guesty, Barry, Big Dan, Koi Carp and Jokers for the Virtual Racers Club. And really enjoyed this series. It's been very, very cool. Every single minute of it. And I've also enjoyed watching back Thingamajig's streams of the events on the times he's done it, obviously. It's been good fun watching his take on the races. He's very, and I tell you what, when you're not watching me, do check him out, because he's very, very entertaining. And he swears a lot less than I do. He's a much nicer, calmer person than me. So good luck everyone. The race will begin, and it will begin with a front 4 lockout yet again. So it'll be interesting to see if Little's GP can make inroads this time. So Kevin from Stormfly, from PM10, from Yellow Sausages, Little GP, Wiggy, Avalon, GMAC, then Matt Psycho, Guesty, Barry, Big Dan, Jokers, Koi Carp. They're your 14 runners, and we're waiting for the lights to go on, and then we can do this. Jump out, jump back in, ready for the start, and we are away. Yes, we are away. And a good start from Stormfly, good start from Yellow Sausages and PM10. All gets away well, but Kevin in the lead, clearly. And a good move as well from Wiggy and Avalon, both getting up into 5th and 6th place. GMAC also through. Little's getting swallowed up, but Avalon losing it. We've got another off the track there. That looks like, who's that? That's Wiggy off the track. So we for a very brief moment, it was all 7 black flag cars in the lead of this race. Now it's all settled. Wiggy's gone off the track. Avalon had a little wobble. G-Mac had a wobble. Wiggy had a big wobble. And we are running as follows. Kevin from Stormfly, from PM10, from Yellow Sausages. Little's GP sticking absolutely to the back of that battle at the moment. Matt Psycho also through. He's hanging in there. He's got Avalon Shadow crawling all over him at the moment, looking for a way through. Avalon Shadow's got G-Mac for company. Can these guys work together to hunt down Matt Psycho? Or is Matt Psycho, as I suspect, got that little bit of extra pace in the tank, and he can work with Little's GP and try and put some challenge in on the top 5. Then we've got Guesty, Koikar, Barry, Big Dan from Jokers, and then Wiggy, who we saw have that big off going through turn 2, down in 14th place. So some work for him to do at this stage. So we end lap 1 with Kevin in the lead of this race. 6 tenths almost, and half a second. There are the gaps for the top 4 and 5. And then it's a 1 second gap back to Matt Psycho, who's got Avalon, he's got G-Mac for company. Let's go on board with, who should we go on board with? Let's go on board with Wiggy and see if Wiggy can close down. We know Wiggy's got some pace. Can he close down on Jokers and Big Dan and those in front there, or are they going to hold him off? Bear in mind that although this is, if you've got the right pace, it's a good racetrack to overtake on. But when the pace is so similar between the cars, it's just so difficult because the gaps just don't appear. You can't hang a car around the outside. Does chuck one up the inside there. Joker's trying to close it off. Wiggy does the sensible thing, just backs out. Doesn't want to be catching him, damaging both cars, sending them flying off the racetrack. He'll hang in and wait for another opportunity. And there it is. Joker's going wide. That puts Wiggy up into 13th, heading up towards the corkscrew here. Who gets through safely? Everybody? Certainly looks that way. Everybody through safely. Joker's is 5.6, well, 6 seconds back now. And a very quick sector there from Wiggy. Purple at the moment, closing down now on Barry Twins. Is there a move on for him here? No change up front at the moment. Yellow Sausages in 3rd, PM10 in 4th. I'm assuming that's what it is, but I'm guessing because I can't actually see it far at the racetrack. Better exit there from Barry. Bit of a wiggle there from Wiggy. Wiggy had a wiggle, and that just slows up his charge, but he's making another move. 3 tenths. Is there a space up the inside? You can tell he's having a look. It's not there, so he's going to try, maybe around the outside. Very close to the back of Barry. He's clearly quicker through that section. And Koi Carp, Big Dan, Barry, all in his way at the moment. And once he's past them, he's got so many other cars before he gets up amongst the rest of the black flag guys who are just racing. So, obviously, I absolutely. And Big Dan has a wobble there. Big wobble, and that slows everyone up. Barry will go through, or will he? Barry does go through. Wiggy just going through now. Has he got the speed? Big Dan's back up to pace, so he has to slot in behind him again. So Barry actually makes the move. Wiggy can't. Big Dan back up to speed. He did have a bit of a wobble, but not enough to get Wiggy into the action. So we'll go back through the field and see how we're getting on everywhere else. But as I was going to say that the racing VRC has been brilliant. I mean, I've said this already, and there is a penalty there for Stormfly. Great guys to race with, and I want to commend them for the professionalism throughout. But I really want to commend the guys from Black Flag. I've been racing with these guys for a while now, and we've had our ups and downs this year with all the problems with the old group and everything that went on there, and finding ourselves exiled for nothing more than just wanting to have a bit of fun and race a bit. And we built this little thing like a phoenix out of the flames, and these guys have come along on this journey with me, and it's been awesome, to be fair. And they're doing improvement week after week, race after race, and they, for the most part, they go into it without moaning. And I get to come on here and I get to character assassinate them on a regular basis, which is always good fun. So I want to thank them guys for that. There, well, enough gooey. It's not Valentine's Day. I'm not going to send you flowers. I don't love you that much. I don't even like my family that much to send them flowers. So I'm certainly not going to send them to you. 2.7 seconds is the lead for Kevin 77, the Greek god of driving. The Yellow Sausages, second place at the moment, ahead of Stormfly. So Stormfly must have had a bit of a wobble. Yellow Sausages showing his pace round here, and I tell you what, he has got some pace round here. He had some pace at Laguna Seca last week as well. Really, really good racing from him. Good to see him back fighting fit again. Stormfly in third place. He's just half a second back from Yellow Sausages, and PM10 in fourth place. Avalon Shadow has got himself up. What happened to Little's GP? So Little's GP was running with those top four, dropped right down the order now. So we have an Avalon up into fifth. Matt Psycho now carrying the torch for VRC in sixth place. He's done a 127.7 and a 128.0, which according to the screen here are both his fastest laps. I don't quite know how that works. I'll do that and go back. It has actually recognised that only one of them can be a fastest lap. And I love these little bugs that PD put in. I don't love these little bugs that PD put in. I want BD to remove them, but at least we know they're there and we cope with them. GMAC 8 tenths back from Matt Psycho. He's got a bit of breathing room from Littles behind him, but we know Littles is quick. Littles has already demonstrated that they're quick, and I would fully expect them to be getting involved with GMAC at some stage. There we go. So 8 tenths back to Guesty. Then Koi Kart 5.9 seconds behind Guesty. Big Dan 1.6 behind. Wiggy is ahead of Barry, but 5 seconds back from Big Dan, and Barry crawling all over the back of him. We've got Jokers at the very back at 7.5 seconds back. So Wiggy not having his best race here. His last race was the last lap was a 35.1. So just not getting it dialed in this time out. And this actually shows how difficult it's going to be in the third race if they qualify in similar positions to the last two. Because if that happens, this is what they're going to have to contend with, is trying to get through the traffic at the back, and traffic that can defend very well and keep you at bay. So it's going to be quite a feat to make the moves. We've got 14 laps to do it, but the longer it takes, the more it takes out of your tyres. And we know that, I mean, if we look at the tyres for everybody, the Alfa seems to be the one that struggles the most. And this stage, nothing much difference between them, but it does hold out longer in the Sylvia than it does in the little Alfa. But there's your leader, 2.5 seconds clear of Yellow Sausages. He's ahead of Stormfly, but not losing him. But this top three now, 3.1 seconds they're pulling out from PM10. So at the minute, the top five is all black flag. But Matt Psycho wants something to say about that. GMAC, and that's something to say too, GMAC will desperately want to get ahead of Matt Psycho and make this a top 7 for black flag. But look at Little GP making a move. GMAC looking up the inside into the corkscrew, can't make that move. We've got Little GP though, absolutely pushing him to the wire, and Guestley as well getting involved in that. So GMAC under considerable pressure. I'm finding myself a little bit crowded by the VRC Motorsport guys at the moment, but holding off very well in that Alfa. But as I said, with the problem with tyres, pushing him this hard could cause him a problem. And Little GP serves that penalty, just backs off a little bit. Guesty goes through, and it's now down to Guesty to put the pressure on the back of GMAC. GMAC still can't find a way around Matt Psycho, looking around the outside. Avalon at the moment under pressure from Matt Psycho. So this is some really close balls to the wall racing. GMAC gets up the inside, makes the move into the top 6. So it is top 6 now of black flag. But I'll tell you what, Matt Psycho's not going to let that go, and I can see this move coming back on him very soon. It's very good racing though, and very clean, very fair, but very close. And Matt Psycho trying to hang that Sylvia around the outside, then go for the switcheroo. Doesn't work out for him this time as they head up the hill for another crack at the corkscrew. And this is some great racing. You've got to love this. Matt Psycho, I think deliberately backing off a bit there. You don't want to be tucked underneath someone's rear wing when you come into the corkscrew, because you don't want to screw up your braking point and have the slipstream unsettle your car into that really difficult braking zone. And we can already see starting to close back up again now. GMAC's primary concern is going to be to get him and Avalon just moving up that road a little bit. But there we go. Great performance from the pair of them. And they are now up into 5th and 6th. Matt Psycho not got an answer at this stage for them. Little GP is back on the back of Guesty. It is Matt Psycho, Guesty and Little GP all battling it out 7th, 8th and 9th place for the to try and get close enough to both GMAC and to Avalon to make a move somewhere if they can. Wiggy is now past Big Dan. He is 9 seconds back behind that battle though. We're on lap 8, so 6 laps remaining. He's got some good pace. 26.8 is his fastest lap. Little's GP, so a couple of attempts slower than faster than Little's GP, who makes the move around Matt Psycho. So Matt Psycho dropping off now. It's like a bicycle race, isn't it? When one goes out in front and tows them along, and then they switch places and someone else does all the hard work. So I suppose this is a good way of looking after your tyres. Is that you can tuck in behind your teammate, let your teammate pull you around a little bit, save your fuel, save your tyres a little bit, and then you switch a Rooney and someone else gets to go out in front. Back of the pack is Joe. Did someone just go off the track there? That was Barry off the track. He's 10 seconds up from Koi Carp. That gap will certainly come down. 7 seconds back from Big Dan, but who's 4 seconds back from Wiggy. 8.8 seconds to Matt Psycho at the moment. Got some work to do to close that up. He's about a second a lap faster at the moment though. But back out in front, Stormfire has regained second place. It's a 3-second lead for Kevin 77 in that Alfa Romeo. Then it is Stormfly, number 46, 3.1 behind the lead, 1.8 now ahead of Yellow Sausages, number 7, and he's rocking that Alfa in that top 3, and he's doing a very, very solid job up there. He's been very solid all day, to be fair. PM10 Racing, 1.5 seconds back in 4th place. Avalon Shadow in 5th. He's those 7.4 off that off the back of PM10 at the moment, and he's got GMAC for company though. He's not all alone. He's got GMAC for company, but they are being hunted down right now by Little's GP, Guesty and Matt Psycho. All 3 of them vying for a place. The slightest error, the slightest slip up, and they will pounce and steal those positions if they can. And you've got to be pleased with the performance here. I think overall, we went into this race and we were a little bit unsure about the longevity of those soft tyres. We did a bit of testing, and we knew they would go to the end, but we were concerned about when you have to over push them for the racing purposes, or you give it too much beans, or you go off the track or whatever. We knew that it would be giving up a little bit to the Sylvia towards the end of the race. We did briefly discuss the use of medium tyres to give us a little bit more longevity, but it was felt that the grip loss on the medium tyres wasn't worth the effort, so stuck with these soft tyres, knowing that one or two drivers would be a little bit ropey towards the end. Another penalty there for Stormfly is 1.5 seconds, but the pace is so strong at the moment, and it's not really that harsh a penalty here at Laguna Seca. You don't lose a lot, certainly not as much as you do on tracks like Le Mans and Spa. That's another bad one actually. Interlagos is a very, very bad one. It's not a huge loss here. I remember they're not allowed to pit. They have to run the full 20 minutes with the fuel and tyres they start the race with. So at this point of the race, when you've got 4 laps left, is when you have to start thinking about how bad your tyres are. We look at Kevin's, they're absolutely fine. Stormfly already halfway through them. He's had to do a little bit of pushing. Yellow Sausage's similar position, but plenty of fuel on board. PM10 Racing, he's sticking with them, plenty of fuel. Tyres again, about halfway. Little GP, those tyres are in better condition, so he can push a little bit harder now. He's ahead of Avalon. He's made that move into the top 5. Where is GMAC? Because there's Avalon, there's Guesty, there's Matt Psycho. GMAC is back in 9th place. He's 1 second behind Matt Psycho, 1.3 behind Matt Psycho. 15 seconds ahead of Big Dan though, so should be safely ahead. Wiggy's got 4 seconds to make up on Big Dan if he wants to move up into that top 10. Didn't have a great race this time out. Lap 4 wasn't kind to him. He's been a bit quicker now, but one bad, he's had another bad lap there actually. That was a 140.8, so that's cost him dearly. So a couple of bad laps have made all the difference. If you think that he is 3.6 behind Big Dan, 15 behind GMAC, and he's lost What did he lose there? So let's have a look. Where is he? 14, 15. Yeah, he's lost. Yeah, quite a lot. So 24 seconds he's lost in offs and spins and what have you. So that would put him firmly. Up in around sort of Avalon Little's GP in terms of pace, but just lost some with some errors. And that's what we need to. Or if we want to hope of a top all top 7, you need to eke out the issues. But that's not going to happen in the second race. I can't see how we can eke out a top 7 in the final race because of the difficulty in overtaking without mistake, and because it's going to be a reverse grid type scenario. I quite keep calling it reverse grid. It's not his slowest first. That's essentially what it is. It's slowest first. But there is your race leader, 7.5 seconds clear of Stormfly VR 46. He has Yellow Sausages still for company. It's only half a second difference there. PM10 not too far back, only 8 tenths back there for the top 4. Then Little's GP is 10 seconds back from those front runners. Did have a bit of a battle trying to get around GMAC and Avalon, which has slowed them up a little bit, but it has been freed now and has been lapping, to be fair, not too much slower than those front 4. The front 4 firmly in those 126s for the most part anyway. Little's is firmly in the 127. Sorry about that. Quick, I don't know where this yawning comes from. I'm not even that tired. Well, clearly I am because I'm yawning. Yeah, a bit quicker than Avalon, quicker than Matt Psycho. Guesty with a 1 second penalty. That's going to push. Is that going to push him into the loving arms of GMAC? It's not a huge loss here for penalties, we know. But if GMAC is on the charge, he might be able to get significantly closer for lap 13. Wiggy's closed the gap to Big Dan. It's 1.2. Much better lap from him with a 128.3 that time out. No mistakes that time for him. So he's going to be hunting down Big Dan for this, for the end of lap 12. And Guesty serves his penalty. GMAC coming through. Guesty still getting up to speed. It is very cool, isn't it? Very, very cool. You should come and join us, mate, and you can have one too. That was the message from Nicholas Austin, telling us how cool our livery is. It's very sharp. That was done by our leader, Kevin 77, the race leader at the moment. He's very, very good with the old liveries. And he does very accurate recreations of classic Formula 1 cars for our Super Formula series, which wasn't a Saturday until, of course, we started the new endurance series, which is coming up on Saturday. Do get involved in that. So GMAC has made it around Guesty. 2.4 seconds. Oh no, he hasn't, because Guesty taking that place back. Matt Psycho has a penalty to serve, a 1 second penalty. GMAC and Guesty battling this out on lap 13. The top 3 unchanged. Kevin from Stormfly, from Yellow Sausages, PM10 Racing, Little's GP, Avalon is 6th. Matt Psycho there with a 1 second penalty. It's 3.1 now back to GMAC, who's battling with Guesty. Neither wants to give this one up. And at the moment, GMAC just winning that battle as we go into the final lap of the race. We head down to this final corner. Kevin will already be on that lap. You can see how far ahead he already is. So he goes through. He's on lap 14. Here comes GMAC ahead of Guesty. Guesty with a bit of slipstream. Can he make a move here as they cross that start-finish line? He is gaining. Is there a move down into turn 1? GMAC is going to be struggling with his tyres a little bit on this lap. Covers off that inside line though pretty well. Tyres certainly looking in better condition they were at the end of the last race. But I think by the time we get to the end of this lap, he is going to be in big trouble with those tyres. So Guesty will stick in there. Guesty's got plenty of tyre to play with here. So could we see a heroic hold-off effort from GMAC? Or will we see Guesty make the move up into 8th place? Big Dan is just 6 tenths ahead of Wiggy, who desperately wants to break his way into that top 10. So let's have a look. Where is Kevin? Here is Kevin. He's going to finish this lap. This will be 2 wins from 2 for Kevin 77, the Greek god of driving. You can forget about Zeus. You can forget about Thor. You can forget about Athena and all of those other Greek gods. It's all about Kevin, the god of racing cars. 6.8 seconds clear. Stormfly comes home second. Yellow Sausages will come home third. PM10 in fourth. Little's GP, another good race from Little's GP. Very, very solid. Very, very consistent as well in those mid to low 27s. That's her 5th place for Little's GP. Avalon Shadow will come home in 6th place. Matt Psycho, 7th place for Matt Psycho. So that's the top half of the field done. Then we've got GMAC from Guesty. Wiggy does get past Big Dan up into 10th. Can he hold it through the final corner as they come to cross the line? Looks like he's just far enough ahead to make this stick. Wiggy will cross the line in 10th place. Big Dan in 11th. Then we've got Quick Up has finished. Barry in 12th and Jokas in 13th. Another bad day at the office for Quick Up, unfortunately. Right, there we go. Don't worry, Koi. If I was racing, you would definitely be beating me. Definitely, without question. So there we go. That's race number 2 done and dusted. It is 2 wins from 2 for Kevin 77. 2 top 4 lockouts for Black Flag Racing. I've got to be pleased with that. So another 10-minute break. Again, this time you've got to qualify. You can't just not put a lap in because this will be a reverse grid race, I believe. Yeah, it should be a reverse grid race. I think that's what we agreed anyway. But qualifying will start at 21:20, so he's given a 5-minute break for fags and drinks and what have you. Then we'll have another 10-minute qualifying, and then we will be reverse grid scenario, and we'll find out who is the quickest from the back of the pack. So I did talk about it, and I'm going to talk about it again. The Mind charity event, which starts on Saturday. Thank you to everyone that's already donated. We've already raised more than I thought we would, particularly before it started out. But it'd be really, really cool if you guys can get involved. So please get involved in this.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
A donation of £20 could help 167 people take their first steps in getting mental health support through Minds booklets.
Thanks for watching that, and please, if you can, get involved in any way you can, whether that be to race or to donate, or more importantly to watch, because I've got streams for 3 hours. I need some company in the chat, man. I need some people to get involved and to talk to me, so I'm not doing this alone. Thank you. Because I'm trying to fill time before everyone comes back, here is the third and final promo for the new racing series. We start tomorrow with on F1 2022. My mind went completely blank then on F1 2022.
You were never the one to believe in hostilities, but you still forced the worst upon me. Upon me. All you wanted was love, but that was never enough. No, never enough. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. Disregarding your name, your smell is all that remains. They say you're an SLUT, but that doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. I remembered what you'd say. We're all looking to be alone. And somehow, someday, we'll find what we're looking for. Till then, you'll still be a boy.
So loads of exciting things happening on Black Flag Racing TV, as you have seen. I'm glad I've got some stuff in all these little gaps and everyone's going for a fag about, because it saves me having to think of rubbish to talk about. And generally it is rubbish. Big update coming to GT7. No, that's the big news. There is a big update coming, apparently. The November update, which will come towards the end of the month, I think. Apparently will be huge. There is some rumour that an old classic GT track's coming back, something like Grand Valley, maybe. Who knows? What we would really like to see is a little tweak to the lobbies, please, BD. I'll tell you what I'd like to do. Look, I know they're not going to fix everything for the lobbies, so this is what I would like in the next update. Can we have proper qualifying? Two things I want. Proper qualifying is the main thing I want. But also just a little tweak to the... actually bring in the keyboard controls that we had for GT Sport for the spectator mode, because it makes spectating races a lot bloody easier with all the keyboard controls and the replay options working with them. I do have a replay option in OBS, but I can't work it properly. It's a pain in the ass. I've worked out how to tweak the timings on it and all that kind of thing, and so that's that. So that's what we want, PD. Give us some proper qualifying and leave the times up so we can see it, and all that telemetry we used to get in GT Sport, and some keyboard controls. If you're only going to do two things, do those two. Lobby stability, we know that's not really... It is a PD issue. PD can do something about it. but it's also down to individuals as well. You know, if you're not clearing out your cache, you're not, you know, hardwired into the system and not downloading loads of porn or whatever you're doing in your house at the same time, then the lobbies will be more stable. So this is the third and final qualifying session of this final sprint race. This is race number 4 of the series. It is possible we will have a 5th race, which will potentially be the first race again, just because the settings weren't quite right. We'll have a little chat with my friend Coy later on, and we'll find out if that's still going ahead next week. So we'll let you know if that's the case. If it's not, we will return next week with our GR3, which has got a few rounds left in it. And that will see us out to the end of the year, I think. So, Kevin77 will be on, well, he won't be on pole this time, he'll be in 14th place in his reverse grid scenario. Then we've got Little GP looking very quick there, actually, with a 27.2. Wiggy with a 27.3. GMAC with a 27.7. PM10 Racing 29.0. He's definitely quicker than that. Is PM10. Barry with a 29.1. Jocas with a 30.8. Yellow Sausages with 31.0. Koi Carp with a 31.7. Guesty 31.8. Matt Psycho 33.3, definitely going to be quicker than that. And there we go, 28.4. The world is back the right way up again. And who's still waiting for? Stormfly, not setting up yet, but he is about to. Big Dan also not setting up yet, but he is about to. Where is Avalon? I haven't seen him yet. There he is. Avalon's done a 28.5. So it is a reverse grid scenario. So essentially what happens is we see everyone will qualify as they normally would, and you try as you normally would. No sandbagging. Let's face it, no one's going to do that because everyone here is honest and does things the right way. You put in your laps. We then reverse the grid, and the slowest guy will start out from the front, and the quickest guy will start out from the back. And then those quick guys have got 14 laps to try and get past. Now, turn 1, you've got to be sensible. Well, turn 2 essentially, but turn 1, you've got to be sensible when it's reverse grid. Now, reverse grid should be rolling start the reverse grid, but that's not to say it's definitely going to happen, because sometimes they get wrong and they do it as a grid start. Ideally, should be rolling start. The reason you prefer rolling start on reverse grid is it just opens up all the cars a little bit. So turn 1 isn't a big throng of slow drivers and quick drivers all coming in behind them. So the slow drivers braking a little bit earlier, as we do, and accelerating a little bit later, as we do, and then you've got the quick guys behind them braking late as they do, and getting on the power earlier as they do. And you know what happens there is you get turn 1 at Monza. Turn 1, lap 1 at Monza, in any daily race ever. The only way you can avoid crashing on lap 1, turn 1 at Monza is to be last, or first and crazy quick, or first and lucky, should I say. Otherwise, if you're in the middle there, someone is going to hit you, because it's just the way it happens. Not so much on Formula 1, of course, because you crash in turn 1 in Formula 1 and you're going in for a new front wing, or rear wing, depending on where you get it from, I suppose. So Stormfly has put in the fastest lap of the race with a 1:26.1, and that is a beautiful example of drifting ability. Kevin77, there he is with a 26.2. Stormfly, that's a stonking lap from Stormfly. Kevin will not be happy about that. He won't care that that will start in one place further forward on this grid. He will want to take that pole position anyway, because it's just the way he's built. Yellow Sausages again, third, 26.8. Matt Psycho with a very good lap there, so 27.2. It's a good solid lap. He picks up a penalty there. He's not going to improve this time out. Little's GP with a 27.2. Little's GP showed some great race pace over these last couple, finishing just outside the top 4 both times. He's going to have some work to do though, as everyone will, to work their way through the field. So at the moment, quickly Yellow Sausages. Yeah, he is. 26.819, US is from the 26, well, 26.5 there, was his new lap. No, it wasn't. 26.860. This is why PD need to sort out the qualifying things, because just the oddest times just keep popping up all over the screen. Absolutely no relevance to what's actually going on. 27.1 for Wiggy. Matt Psycho's still got that penalty to serve. So that's 2. That's killed him. He did a 132 in that last lap, but obviously it won't count for anything. His fastest lap was a 127.2. We've got a minute left to qualify, so get this lap done is the order of the day. Get it done, get it done, get it quick, and see where you end up. GMAC 27.7, his fastest lap so far. We need to see a bit more pace from GMAC. Well, we don't need to see a bit more pace from him, but we know he's got that pace in there. But it seems that the VRC guys have just upped that pace a little bit, and so it's paying off. Because at the minute, Little GP, 3rd on the grid, or is he 3rd? Yeah, I think he is 3rd on the grid. So looking good for him at the moment in terms of pace. But of course, because the grid's reversed, there's going to be a lot of work to do from the back. So 20 seconds of qualifying left. If you're about to finish a lap, get it finished, because the race will start. I don't think anyone's close enough actually to get a lap finished, are they? Who's left still to set a lap? Well, PM10 might get one done, just. He's just inside that 10 minutes now. And Big Dan. But Matt Psycho, he is running the room, he is in the pits, so he will be, there we go, good luck, pressing the button, ready to go racing. So final race of this sprint series, of the 2 sprint races we've had, and it's been really, really good fun. For these last month we spent with VRC doing this tournament, and he didn't do the reverse grid, but it is what it is. Didn't do the reverse grid, so we just raced like this. I thought we were going to do a reverse, but that's fine. We can leave it as it is if they so wish. And let's call somebody who's now frantically shouting, going, it's supposed to be reversed. But it doesn't matter. We'll get this done and dusted as we are now. So quickly leave and go back in, because there we go. So Stormfly this time is away. Kevin did not get the trifecta. He did not get the 3 fastest laps in qualifying. Stormfly took the last one from him. So there is Stormfly in the lead from Kevin 77 from Wiggy. Little's GP already up to 4th place. Intentions are clear there. Yellow Sausages in 5th place behind Wiggy. Matt Psycho, what a move from Wiggy up into 3rd. Yellow Sausages up into 4th. That's a great move from those 2 up into the top 4. Little's GP in 5th place. Matt Psycho in 6th. Those 2 very, very clear on their intentions, though. They are after this race-wise. Little GP up into 4th place now. Matt Psycho looking to make a move on Yellow Sausages. Then we've got Avalon Shadow back in 7th place, with Barry just behind him in 8th, Guesty in 9th, Koi Carp 10th, Jokers in 11th, Big Dan in 12th, G-Mac down in 13th. Not a great start from him. And PM10, not a great start from him either. He's had some contact. He's going to have to try and work through that damage which has just come off the car. So we've got 2 running in 13th and 14th place. So a lot of work for those 2 to get themselves up the order. But Stormfly and Kevin already putting out in the lead from Wiggy. Little's GP sticking with Wiggy. No intention of letting him get away from absolutely sticking with that top 3. Yellow Sausages in 5th place. Matt Psycho sticking with that battle in 6th. Would really be keen to get through. I'm very surprised actually that we didn't have the reverse grid in that final race, because I think that always kind of mixes up these little sprint races a little bit. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Any movement from those 2 at the back, well, they've got some work to do first. G-Mac's got 2 seconds to make up a Big Dan before he can even think about passing. And PM10 3 seconds to make up on G-Mac before he can even think about passing. And it's one of those things. Turn 1, it's always dangerous. You know, everyone goes in with the same intentions, which is making up a few places. And sometimes you overcook it. Sometimes you just have a little coming together. And it's, you know, it's no one individual driver's fault. It's just one of those things. It's racing, isn't it? So Stormfly in the lead from Kevin 77. This will be a good battle between them. There's no team orders here. Everyone is free to race each other. The only quarrel really is don't take each other out on track, really. Just get on with the racing and enjoy yourself. And Kevin going a little bit wide there with a bit of a wobble, but he does keep the car on the road. Good movement from him, just keeping that car there. Wiggy's still holding off in third from Little's GP. But Little's GP, no intention of letting Wiggy get away, will keep at this all the way down the straight and hoping for a mistake out in front. Remember, Wiggy had to fight his way back from way down the order, and Little's GP getting so close through turns 2 and 3. Heading down to this big right-hander. With some work to do, definitely some work to do, but Little's GP already one place better off than any previous finish. Yellow Sausages is 8 tenths back from that battle. We're on lap 3. We are literally 11 laps from the end of this TVT. Assuming, of course, that we don't replay the first week and then next week, which I hope we do, because this has been a really awesome little racing series. We have another TVT coming up, of course, which will be on Sunday, starting on Sunday evening, against our friends at the Lithuanian Racing Club. Their season 3 finished last week, culminated at a race at Nordschleife, and that is the track they have picked for us for the first of 4 races. And they've opted for a little road car and some sports tyres there as well, just to mix things up a little bit. So that'll be something a little bit different, something a little bit cool. And obviously we've got to sort out our settings for the following week. And who's that off the track? That's Stormfly. He's off the track. He's lost 2 or 3 places there. He was in the lead, so he's down to 5th place. He's not going to get the run on Yellow Sausages this time out. Yellow Sausages will stay ahead. So off the track for him, just overcooked it into the last turn, went wide, and Kevin goes through into the lead of this race. He's 3.9 seconds clear of Wiggy, who is still under loads of pressure from Little's GP, and that promotes Little's GP up into the top 3. And with their performance today, they definitely deserve to get something out of this race. As much as I love to see Black Flag in the top 7 places, it's good to see someone that deserves top 3 get a top 3, even if they are the team we are competing against. So Little's GP really close to the back of Wiggy, just can't find a way through right now. Wiggy did a good job of just putting that little Alfa in all the right places, and it's good to see Wiggy among the top 3 again. He's really struggled with the GR4. With the GR4 lottery, he's got a couple of really awful cars throughout the season rolled for him, and it's not been going his way. So he will be made up racing in the top 3 in any sort of. And there's a penalty picked up there for Littles. That's going to put a bit of a scupper in the charge for 2nd place. Stormfly getting back involved again now. He's got back ahead of Yellow Sausages. This time staying on the track. But this is where the danger comes, is when it's not going quite right and you push too hard and then you cock it up. Because I always do that. That's because I have to push crazy hard. And to give you a representative example of how slow I am, what are we looking at? Who's at the back of the pack? Koi Carp. His fastest lap is a 1:29.9. I was 3 seconds off that time. So it's just, well, I'm not racing really, because it would be embarrassing. I'll be letting us all down. It's one of the reasons why I do this. Those who can do, those who can't go on YouTube, and tell those who can do how to do it. That's the rules. That's an actual law. So there's Kevin in the lead of this race. Oh, there's a spin from him, and into the wall he goes. That will change the complexion of this race. Where's Wiggy? Kevin trying to get himself back on the track. Wiggy will come through. Little's GP comes through. Stormfly through. Yellow Sausages through. Kevin down to 5th place. Just goes to show, it doesn't matter how quick you are, how good you are. Sometimes the car just gets out from underneath you and everything changes. So Kevin's giving himself some work to do now if he wants to get 3 wins from 3. The new leader of the race, there is Wiggy. Little's GP in 2nd place. He's got Stormfly right up behind him, and he's got a penalty to serve. And this is going to be very difficult to hold up any charge. He's going to have to basically sit there and watch Little Sausages go through. And Little Sausages, Yellow Sausages go through, and Kevin doesn't quite make it though. Kevin just tucked in behind, 1.4 seconds back, and that is just behind for Kevin, to be fair. So Yellow Sausages and Little swap places, and he is through. Little is 4th, ahead of Kevin in 5th, ahead of Matt Psycho in 6th place, who's trying desperately now. He's got Kevin in front of him, and that's a target that he won't want to be trying to chase down. He will know the pace of Kevin in front of him, and he will know that that is a very difficult battle. But he also knows if he can stick within that slipstream, he'll get tugged up the road. I'm glad I slowed down then, because I nearly said tugged off, and I know that Kevin definitely doesn't do that. G-Mac running in 7th. He's 10.8 seconds back from that cycle already. We're only on lap 6 here, not even at the halfway point. Guesty is 1.6 behind with Barry, just a second behind him. What about PM10 and Avalon? Well, PM10 is 4.1 seconds behind Big Dan, so starting to make his moves. Avalon down in 12th place, 5.5 seconds off the back of PM10, and 3.6 seconds ahead of Koi Carp, and Koi Carp 12.7 clear of Jokas, and I really do hope Koi Carp manages to stay ahead in this race. Excuse me for the yawn. Stormfly making the move on Wiggy up into the lead of this race. So Stormfly was in the lead, then he spun out, dropping down to 5th place, closed back up, then there was a spin out from Kevin, loads went through, a little penalty from Little's GP, and all of a sudden Stormfly back in the lead of this race again. Just goes to show how this track can punish you if you get it the slightest bit wrong. Wiggy running in 2nd place, just behind Stormfly, and Yellow Sausages tucked in there as well. That is a very, very good 1, 2, 3 at the moment for them. Little's GP in 4th place, with Kevin bearing down on the back of him, and that's not a sight you'll want to see. This is not what you want to see in your mirror, is the sight of Kevin 77 hunting you down on the racetrack. But he will, it's a difficult overtake you've got to make, because Little's GP is no slouch around here, and certainly won't be leaving any gaps open, not willingly anyway. So he's got a charge on here as Kevin. Can he make the move up the inside? He does dive down the inside. Side by side they are. Does he make the move stick? Just side by side, and it's just the straight line speed of the Alfa coming out of the corner that's making the difference. He's holding the inside line here, but this Silver is not giving up. Neither is Little GP. Little's GP does not want to give this up. Trying to switcheroo. Kevin does get ahead. Kevin does hold them off. Don't know how he managed to pull that off. I think it's just the exit speed from the final corner, and that initial burst that the Alfa gives you out of the corners that the Sylvia just doesn't have. I think on a racetrack with longer straights, I think the Sylvia is a much stronger prospect over the Alfa Romeo 155. But just the gearing in that 155 just gives you so much out of the corners and away from a slow start. And it's only when you get into sort of the top of the 5th and bottom of the 6th gear that you start to lose that bit of grunt in the Alfa. You certainly don't have the straight line speed. As you will see from, if you watch back the race from Monday, the GR4, you'll see how quick the Alfa was through the really twisty sections at Tokyo East, but loses out so much on the straight. So let's have a rundown from the back. It's Jokas, who is 12 seconds behind Koi Carp, 5.6 seconds behind Avalon Shadow, who's closing gap a little bit to Big Dan. 4.3 seconds is that gap. Big Dan 3.1 seconds behind PM10 Racing, who is trying to battle his way back from the back of the pack. There is Barry ahead, 2.7 seconds is the gap ahead, and then 3.8 up the road to Guesty. Guesty is 3.2 back from G-Mac, the man of many tyres, as we like to call him. He loves a pit stop, this boy. 11.2 seconds back from Matt Psycho. That's going to be a very difficult bridge to cross at this stage of the race. We're on lap 9 of 14, of course. 4.2 seconds to Little's GP, who has been bringing it. And I think the only thing that's kept Little's GP from the top 3 here is just the performance differential in the car. You know, I'm not taking anything away from the Black Fly drivers. They're very, very good. But I think the car here just has that little bit more impetus out of the corners. And although the Sylvia is slightly better on those soft compound tyres, the Alfa just does enough in the early stages of the race to stay ahead. And that makes all the difference. So Kevin 77 had a little spin. Unusual for him to see him make a mistake, but he went back into 5th place. He's now made his way back through the order up to 4th. He's got Yellow Sausages, Wiggy and Stormfly ahead of him. And you know, he wants to race them. He's quite within his rights to do so. Fastest lap was a 26.0 from him. Yellow Sausages running in 3rd. He's got a 1.5 second penalty. So at the end of this lap, you will see Kevin. You'll see Littles. You may even see Matt Psycho. Where is he now? He won't see Matt Psycho. You see Kevin and Littles will certainly be going through. There's Wiggy running in 2nd. The gap to Stormfly now, 2.5 seconds. So at the moment, the leader of this race is Stormfly, who's you know, he was in the lead. He had a spin after he led the race from pole. He had a spin dropping back to 5th, and then a couple of little errors from people in front of him. Gifts, you don't look at gift to the mouth, of course, and he was straight back up into 1st. He took his overtakes and he took his opportunities, and he's back in the lead of this race. So we're here on lap 10 of 14. This is the final race of the Sprint Series here at Laguna Seca. Black Flag E-Racing versus the Virtual Racers Club. And this has been a very, very good season. Good series. Really enjoyable. And hopefully they'll want to do this again maybe 1 month next year. Maybe something different, a different format, maybe something a little bit different. Maybe some different cars or same cars, I don't know. But hopefully they'll like to do this again sometime. You know, I don't know what format it will take. We'll work it out. Whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be cool. So lap 11 here at Laguna Seca. Stormfly leads from Woody. So again, Black Flag with the 1, 2 and 3. This time though we don't have the 4. That is Little's GP for the Virtual Racers Club. 1.3 seconds behind Kevin. 1.4 seconds ahead of Yellow Sausages. Kevin trying to make his charge through the field. Yellow Sausages losing out obviously with the penalty, 1.5 second penalty. So that gives Yellow Sausages a little bit of a drop back. He's got the pace certainly, and 3 laps in which to do it. His fastest lap, the fastest lap for Little GP, you can see there is a 1 at 27.0. Yellow Sausages has done a 1 at 26.5. So that 1.5 seconds is nothing really. If he can churn out his fastest lap, even when Little GP is doing the same thing. Then we've got nearly 5 seconds back to Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho was so quick in the last of the endurance races at the Red Bull Ring, and only robbed in 3rd place by some heroic driving from PM10 Racing on tyres that had no right to still be working. Absolutely no right. GMAC 12.9 seconds back in 7th place. That's the midway point, so these are firmly the midfield runners. Then we've got Guesty 5 seconds back from that, and 5 seconds ahead of PM10 Racing. In terms of lap times, 28.9 for Guesty, fastest lap, 27 something. When that little car moves that way, I'll tell you. If it does, 27.7 is the fastest lap for PM10. But at the moment, he's lapping at a very similar pace to that of Guesty. And we know as the race goes on, these Alfa tyres drop off the cliff very quickly and just fall out from underneath you. VRC Barry Twins, 2.7 seconds back from PM10 Racing. Similar pace as well. Big Dan, his fastest lap, very good. 27 points, and I'm really sorry for you now. I've done this a couple of times to say this. It's because I haven't been drinking coffee. It's because I want to be able to go to sleep later, because I've got to work tomorrow. 27.5 is fastest lap for Big Dan, 7.4 seconds back from Barry. Avalon Shadow 6.9, 7 seconds back down the road in his Alfa Romeo. Then we've got 3 seconds back to Koi Carp, who is 21 seconds clear of Jokers. The Joker's not having a very good final race here, and Koi Carp with a slight improvement on previous races. The gap out in front now is 6.7 seconds, and Little's GP has made the move around Wiggy and made the move around Kevin. So did Kevin have make a mistake? As we see, Yellow Sausage is making a move on Kevin as well. So it looks like Kevin's made a mistake. Wiggy makes a mistake. Wiggy drops out, so the tyres really starting to go off for these guys. And I think just the concentration's just dropping off there. Kevin back through into third to chase down Little's GP. And at the moment we've got Stormfly VR46 in the lead. Little's GP for the Virtual Racers Club on lap 13 in second place. Podium place for VRC. And it would be well deserved, to be fair. It would be well deserved. Kevin 77, there he is, 1.4 seconds is the gap. Is he going to close this down? We know he's got the pace. And I tell you what, he will be firmly tunnel vision now. This is the sort of zone that he will just properly get into. And he will do everything in his power to not only close, but overtake Little GP. And a little bit of dust kicking up from the bottom of Little GP's car, which is going to cost some time. And Kevin's already got that gap down to 8 tenths. So we head down on the final lap of this race. And the pace has been very good. Lap 14. And this is Kevin T7. Kevin T7. And that's what I'm going to call him. Kevin T7 on the charge. 7 tenths back from Little's GP, who has run so well in this race. Little's GP has done absolutely everything required of him just to get the car in the right place at the right time, let the people around make mistakes and capitalise on every single one of those. And is now in second place and looking really, really good for a podium here, and a well-deserved podium too. So we have got just half a racetrack left almost. A couple more corners before we get to the corkscrew, and every corner down is one less opportunity for Kevin T7 to make the overtake. Just has to correct the car there, really tucked in nicely behind, going into the corkscrew, and Little's GP into the corkscrew. Kevin T7 just tucked in behind. Is this move on? We're going to have to watch Stormfly across the line in a minute, but this race is raging on. And we've got 2 more turns. Can Little's GP stay ahead? Does through that turn there. And we've got to jump on with Stormfly, because Stormfly's going to cross the line. We want to see Stormfly finishing. Joker's having a really bad race. And Stormfly wins this race, 3rd race of the 3. Little's GP holds Kevin off. What a great performance there from Little's GP of the Virtual Racers Club. Kevin, this time, for the first time actually in this series, being beaten. So congratulations to Stormfly and to Little GP. Yellow Sausage comes over in 4th. Wiggy home in 5th. We saw him have a big off. He was staring at a barrel on the podium. Matt Psycho in 6th. Here comes G-Mac under some pressure from Guesty. Can he make it before the line? He does. G-Mac through in 7th. Guesty 8th. PM10 Racing couldn't get better than 9th after a really, really poor start. So 9th place for PM10 Racing. Barry will come home in 10th place. 7.6 seconds back. Crosses the line. Then we've got Big Dan. Here comes Big Dan round that final turn. Avalon Shadow just behind, 2.9 seconds. So Big Dan across the line for 11th place. Avalon Shadow, Trademark, messing about, 12th. Koi Carp, 13th, and Jokas in 14th place. Well, that is it. Done and dusted. Finito. Over. Finished. All gone. And it's been brilliant. It's been really, really, really good fun racing. Really good fun. I haven't raced at all, but it's been good fun for the guys. And I'll tell you what, big credit to VRC. They are gentlemen to the last. We'll sort out with Koi Carp whether we are continuing on and redoing race number 1 next week. Obviously, we'll watch this space. We will let you know. Well, brilliant, absolutely brilliant race. Thank you so much. If we don't race again, VRC, thank you so much. Firstly, for agreeing to get involved with this race with us. It's been real fun doing. To Koi Kart for being so patient with me during our negotiations, but also to my counterpart Thingamajig for streaming your side of things over your way, and saying very kind words about me and making pirate noises to make me feel welcome. But that's it. All done and dusted. We're back tomorrow with a brand new tournament in F1 2022. Smoking Pirellis. We've seen the promo. I might show it again before we leave. But not much left to say other than thank you very much for joining us again this evening. There's been some great racing the last few days. So I have been Urban Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing. I forgot what we were. Black Flag Racing TV. With the TVT between Virtual Racers Club and Black Flag E-Racing. Thanks for joining us. I will see you again tomorrow for Formula One. It's been emotional.
You were never the one to believe in hostilities, but you still forced the worst upon me, upon me. All you wanted was love, but that was never enough. No, never enough. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself.